What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, May 18th edition, brought to you by ddpyoga.com/Wrestling Inc. and the resurrection of Jake the Snake. I am joined here by Rob McCarron. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited on this Wednesday.
We had a good NXT show tonight, I thought.
We did. We had a good NXT show. We had storyline developments. This was not just one of those, weekly NXT shows where nothing really happens and the wrestling is okay. We had some big time stuff happening this week. Like top to bottom.
It happened. Yeah. Up and down the show. This was one of the bigger shows that I've seen this year from NXT. So we'll go ahead and get into it. We're going to talk a lot about Extreme Rules, obviously, this Sunday. We have NXT tapings tomorrow night. I almost tried to contact you and Raj and say, let's just move it back so we can gossip about NXT tapings. But alas, we are here tonight because it was fun gossiping about the NXT spoilers last time.
Last Thursday when we had the NXT TV tapings and we were, they were all done by the time we were talking, and we basically conversed all about what happened over the last couple of weeks of NXT, including what happened tonight.
And some of what didn't happen on NXT TV.
That's true. And tonight, it's interesting because I wanted to bring this up with you. This is why you still watch the shows. Like, if you read the spoilers, you still need to watch the show to see what's used, to see what's not used, and to see how things develop. Because right off the top of my head, we're watching the Shinsuke Nakamura Austin Aries tag. And I remember talking about this with you when we were talking about the spoilers. We heard all the spoilers, we read them, and all the reports we talked about were about how Austin Aries seemed upset he didn't get the tag. And we're thinking, okay, well, they're building to some type of thing where Austin Aries turns on Shinsuke, and we have a program for those two, and who knows what's going to happen with tag partners and whatnot. We were talking about that. Well, guess what? Yeah, he didn't get the tag at the main event, but it's not like he was upset about it. There was no teasing of dissension between those two on their first night. It was two superstars teaming up.
They played it up as one-upsmanship on commentary, but that's really it.
A little bit. Yeah, but Austin Aries didn't even give it a second thought. So maybe that's what happens down the line.
Yeah.
But boy, you got to watch these shows because we certainly played that up a little bit more than what was shown on TV tonight.
Also, no Asuka Athena match, Adrian, whatever her name is. So that didn't happen. So NXT does really good about making you guess what you're actually going to see on the show. Now, there's some of it you're going to see on the show. Which one of which Bayley getting beaten by Nia Jax. This is a big deal. And as you wondered a couple of weeks ago, is Bayley going to be on the live events? Isn't she? She was on the live events. She has been working live events, but
now will she be?
Yeah, this is her first clean non-title loss since Emma almost a year ago. So this is a big deal.
It's certainly a big deal because Nia Jax gets the win. It immediately moves her into the title picture. And it's Bayley. We love Bayley. But she did get a clean loss here, although it's kind of like, I blew out my knee and then I lost. So will it actually be played up as like this big Nia Jax win? We will see, but it's certainly a big deal when Bayley, who's been the superstar for months and months and months and has been really protected, finally loses.
Yeah, one thing I didn't like about the match is that they worked over Bayley's shoulder the entire time, and Bayley uses that shoulder in the corner. No excuse for that, especially when the match finished by attacking the leg. But the return of the leg drop is technically a main event finish in 2016, and I'm okay with it. From Nia Jax, I'm okay with it.
When Nia Jax is the one giving it, when when your legs are that big and they're a powerful weapon. So it's certainly better than someone like Kalisto doing a leg drop, when the whole reason is you're dropping a lot of weight on them.
Sean Waltman used to have that really good, rapid leg drop, though, where he would
You're right. There's a difference between just the slow plotting, the Hulk Hogan type leg drop, which just goes down, and then basically the whiplash leg drop, where it's all about force.
I gotta say, there's a difference. On video games, the Hulk Hogan leg drop is a fantastic finish.
On Kevin Nash, the Hulk Hogan leg drop is a fantastic finish. If you ever saw Kevin Nash sell the leg drop, it was so awesome because it's almost like the force, and then he would get his entire body to go erect basically in the air. Watch the Kevin Nash selling of that leg drop, not the finger poke or anything, but the actual.
Did you see the GIF that kind of resurfaced recently of JTG selling the Cobra or I think it's the Cobra or whatever the hell it is that Santino used to do?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I have to send it to you.
Yeah.
Best sell of that move ever. Not only that, he looks legitimately terrified that he's about to get hit with the move, which I think that's great. I think that should be something that's played into more matches, is legitimate fear that you're about to be hit with something.
Legitimate fear, like, you know it's coming. You're so in awe that it's coming, and you're so scared that you don't even think to move out of the way or do anything. That's a real thing. Like, people get hit by cars. You see it in TV shows, you see it in, unfortunately, real life. When someone gets hit by a car, they turn and look and they see the car. They're so stunned that they're about to get hit that they forget to move. And you can do that in wrestling. Oh, why didn't he move? Why is he just staring? Sometimes it's really awesome. Like, I'm about to get hit with a stunner, but I'm going to stand here and take it because I just don't know what else to do. I'm so in fear of getting hit with a stunner.
Indeed. We had Austin Aries bring out his mystery partner to face Blake and Murphy with Alexa Bliss. It was Shinsuke Nakamura. Very short match. Nakamura hit perhaps his best Kinshasa. I don't know how to pronounce it. Either way, he hit his best one yet on, I believe it was Murphy. I don't think Blake was even in the match. Or if he was, it was very briefly. Alexa Bliss abandoned Blake and Murphy after the match. Later on, explained that she didn't need any more dead weight. So Alexa Bliss officially out. Does this mean she's getting back into that women's title picture soon?
I would say so. And it looks like Carmella, Alexa and Carmella might be the next way to go, because if you're going to have Nia Jax, Bayley, Asuka all in the title picture, you have to have someone under that. So I could see Carmella and Alexa Bliss maybe being a thing, with eventually Alexa Bliss going after. Alexa's this funny situation where she gets big matches on TV, but she's never in a big match at Takeover. She's always with Blake and Murphy, or either not on the show. So I would like to see Alexa Bliss maybe eventually built into something where she's the main challenger. She's in a big match at Takeover. Probably won't happen at this Takeover, but in the future, it'd be nice to kind of see her in the singles picture in a big time thing, and not just a throwaway title match against a Bayley or a Sasha Banks.
So our NXT TakeOver card is kind of coming into focus a little bit more. It was announced American Alpha versus the Revival. I'm stoked to see them have another go at it. That's another match that was taped at the last NXT taping. So American Alpha retained it. By all accounts, it's not going to air, because they'd be kind of silly to air this title match. It's going to happen on TakeOver. Another good thing about another good way that NXT keeps its guessing. I'm excited for this. I think, they've had a little more time to work. And, me and you, we didn't think it didn't live up to the match that we had built it up to be in Dallas. But that's just because we were talking like potential match of the year candidate. You think they can go after that? I mean, you saw them live. We've touted this match many times about that fantastic Indianapolis match.
Yeah.
That gives me, when I hear people like you and my good friend Corey Cropper talking about how good that match was, I think they can put on a match of the year candidate, and I'm hoping they do it at this next TakeOver.
They certainly could, but what's becoming a trend with them is, and you can see all the reports from the Pacific Northwest tour they had last week, is they are liable to go out there and have a match of the year one night, and then the next night, maybe not so much. And that's not harmful. That's a good thing. You know what that tells me? That tells me that they're trying new things in these matches. They're seeing what works. They're seeing what doesn't work. They're not just going out there like the old days and having the same match all 3 nights and then going out the next week and having the same match. I like the fact that they're having different matches. So
I love the fact that NXT does that in general. They switch it up a lot.
They are not the WWE house show tour where if you're going to see Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho on the first night, you know that if you're on the Saturday and the Sunday house shows, you're seeing Bray Wyatt, Chris Jericho. You're seeing the same match all 3 nights on the tour. NXT isn't like that. 2 out of 3 usually the same, but they'll kind of switch which matches are the same on night 1 and 2, night 2 and 3, night 1 and 3. So you don't know what you're going to get until you go into the building and start seeing the people come out. It's great, but I do like that they're trying new stuff, because at the end of the day, yes, this is a third brand almost touring nationally, but really it is still developmental. You don't have to go out there with the stigma of WWE, like do the same match. It's easy. Try new things, see what works, because now we know they're wrestling at TakeOver, and we're not going to see the same match as TakeOver Dallas. We're going to see a completely different match, and I hope they have it all together by the time we see that.
Also, I mean, that's a really good way of helping the people like Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Austin Aries, who don't really need developing, but it helps them develop because they're working with, perhaps a really established guy one night. Maybe they'll be working with somebody not as, high profile later on that weekend. So I think that's also very good. A
final note on that too. It's also a good thing for the fans because Shinsuke Nakamura might wrestle Elias Sampson on Friday and Sunday. And then Saturday, he might wrestle someone else like Ty Dillinger. So while the matches themselves might be similar and they might be quick and they might not have a lot of excitement to them per se, you're still getting different. You're getting different opponents with it. You're getting something different. You're not just getting Elias Sampson versus Nakamura and the same match all 3 nights. You might get similar performances, but you're getting different change of opponents there. So it's actually a pretty clever way of allowing someone like Nakamura to kind of take it easy while also giving the fans something new each time.
Well, No Way Jose's something new technically, but
Are you a fan
like it. I want to be, because I've heard from some people that I really like and respect in the business who tell me what a great human being this guy is. I've heard nothing but positive things because there wasn't a whole lot of information out there on him, but the information I got was really good. I don't think this gimmick's going anywhere.
Well, it screams to me kind of like early Adam Rose.
Fandango, Tyler Breeze. I see them. Ooh.
Tyler Breeze actually got a lot of life out of his character because he was allowed to do different things and he was allowed to make his in-ring kind of stand out. Like, yeah, he was
he can always go back to NXT. Worse, he can always go back there and he's an upper mid-carder.
Yeah, but there's no way, Jose, because once you get past the dancing, you got to impress in the ring, and you're probably not going to be able to just go out there and dance all night long every single time. Eventually, you're going to have to be in some type of storyline with somebody. Eventually, you're going to have to do something different, and that's why Tyler Breeze really did well. Because, yeah, he would come out, he was the model, he stared at his phone, but when the bell rang, different matches each time, he was fighting for a purpose. No Way Jose right here is just, I always hate the gimmick where this guy's just having fun. Like, you want to let the guys have fun, but that's not really what their gimmick should be. Like, oh, he's just here to have fun. Well, he eventually should be here to like win and do different things.
Yeah, almost everybody's gimmick should be you got to earn your win bonus.
Right.
You're fighting for that other half of your pay because you get a show bonus and a win bonus. You said he can't dance all night long, but there is one man on the roster who can all night long. Rich Swann.
It's true. And we're going to see him in like a month, weekly on the network.
Oh, I can't wait. We'll talk about that in a moment. Oh, I can't wait. Carmella versus Peyton Royce. I'm a fan of Peyton Royce. I like her. Had a beautiful fisherman suplex. Wanted to say that out of the three amigos. Carmella, she's getting better. She's still not there. She is getting better. I like her finish, the inverted triangle submission.
Yeah.
But this truly was a developmental women's match.
Mm-hmm.
Really about all you can say about that. We're shown Samoa Joe and Finn Balor brawling in Portland, and the announcement that they will have a cage match in a few weeks at NXT Takeover. Now, one of the most interesting things I find about NXT, Rob, it's almost like they're at the beginning of the wrestling timeline, but they go through it accelerated. It's like they don't have a lot of gimmick matches, but then they kind of build up, and now they're at the point of their history where it's like, here's your steel cage match. There was a ladder match, of course, but you're not seeing a bunch of gimmick matches every single show. This is your steel cage match, and because they've never had one before, it's something new. What did you think when that gimmick was announced? Because it's not a normal thing for them.
I just think you're blowing my mind right now with NXT being a retelling of professional wrestling in the US on a hyper advanced timeline. Like, eventually we're going to get to the part where it's 2015 WWE booking and we're not going to enjoy that much. And then do we just go into the future? Like, are we going to get the Elimination Chamber in NXT? And then, like, we're in modern times. But I love the cage match, and I love that it was built up on a house show because I love that NXT does this stuff where, at this live event, chaos happened. So now we're going to have a cage match because of all this stuff you saw at the live event. So, hey, go to the live events.
Well, we already saw NXT go through like the 2008, 2009 Ring of Honor era where the fans sat there and said, impress me.
Yeah, it's kind of happening out of order because we also saw 2011 TNA.
Yes,
So we've seen quite a bit. We've seen quite a bit of that. So it's like a random abstract retelling of professional wrestling history.
Tyson Kidd and Titus O'Neil were in the main event, so we saw the 2012 WWE undercard as well. We've seen different parts of history, highlights and lowlights. So
yeah, I'm waiting for Ring of Honor, former Ring of Honor champion Xavier to show up, and then like a bunch of Raver kids right behind him. I'm looking for that 2003 era Ring of Honor, maybe some ECW at some point. But this cage match, I just love how they built it up. And the build up was, we're going to show you a video of this house show because house shows matter in NXT. Never mind the fact that that match that was thrown out was a championship match. We'll leave that part out. Like, oh yeah, we have all these championship matches. Finn Balor's gotten his rematches already. But it was cool, and we're gonna have a cage match. It's basically a new era, if you will, of Takeover. We're gonna see this cage match in Full Sail. I love the fact that it was to protect the fans. Like, these guys went so crazy, we have to protect the fans. We got to keep them in the ring so no fans get hurt, and it's gonna be a cage match for the title. I don't believe Finn Balor is gonna win it back at that aspect, but just imagine Finn Balor, Samoa Joe craziness in a cage.
Now, is this a mistake doing this cage match just 2.5 weeks after they have a cage match on Extreme Rules? I mean, WWE has shown in the past they give no shits about that. They've had similar finishes on their main roster that happen on NXT, so they don't seem to mind.
No, I don't think it's a big deal. It is 2.5 weeks. That's a good amount of time, and we've seen that NXT. While NXT does watch WWE, like in their minds, the audience for NXT is a main roster audience who also watches NXT. But the main roster audience does not always watch NXT. It's like vice versa. So, I don't think it matters. And let's face it, they're going to be two completely different types of cage matches. I mean, one is a cage match with weapons with a bunch of goofiness. And then this one is going to be serious. This is a battle for the championship. We're talking like Ric Flair and Harley Race versus Raven and Sandman here.
Yeah. Also on the show, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano won a squash match over a couple of job guys. They performed fantastically, especially as a team.
They're my favorite tag team in NXT right now, and that's counting American Alpha. Like, I am all about these guys.
It's like 1A and 1B for me. Man, they work together well. I think, both of their style, Tommaso Ciampa's style, I think, I'm just waiting for like the Nakamura match. If he ever has that, wherever, they will beat the living shit out of each other.
I tell you what, once this Cruiserweight Classic is over, that same house, I believe it was the same house show in Lowell where Samoa Joe won the championship. On the undercard of that show, or at least on one of the shows in that little weekend tour, was Chris Gerard versus Tommaso Ciampa. Ooh. I believe it was in Lowell, and they went 15 plus minutes. And it was a battle that I want to see on NXT TV. We're talking like as a takeover match. You put Chris Gerard versus Tommaso Ciampa, I'm all about it. So if he gets some type of singles run, if they keep him in NXT to the point where they actually give him something more important to do instead of winning basic tag matches, eventually to lose to like an American Alpha, Tommaso Ciampa is making most of this opportunity because he is really impressing me as a guy who watched him in Ring of Honor and thought he was really good. Like, he's blowing away my expectations still here in NXT.
Yeah, and Johnny Gargano is already over.
Yeah, so. I mean, everyone loves Johnny. I mean, Johnny's just a nice guy. You love him, and he's got the life right now. So good for him. It really is Tommaso. I think we knew what Johnny Gargano would be, and I think he's impressing those who maybe didn't know him. But Tommaso Ciampa, man, he is upping his game from a C to an A, and that may come off harsh calling his previous game a C. It was really high level. But to me, he was just like a guy on the roster. Like, it's cool that he's on the show, but you're not going to see him.
He stands out so much in NXT.
Absolutely, he does. And he's standing out against guys who he shouldn't be standing out against. I mean, really, he's in the ring with certain guys where you can't believe Tommaso Ciampa won. And now he's a guy where NXT fans are taking him seriously. He's not in here as some of these job guys just to lose matches. He is basically as regular as you can get without being a regular.
And that's kind of how they started out. WWE was like, we'll bring these guys in. They'll do some shows with us. Now it seems like they're all in on these guys, not to the point to where they've offered them deals to where they can stop doing indies. But
right, because if you love Tommaso Ciampa in NXT, guess what? If you love Samoa Joe, if you love Austin Aries, if you love Finn Balor, the only place you're going to see them is NXT. If you love Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, when they're out there, you can see them anywhere. You can see them at AAW. You can see them at PWG. You can see them at Evolve. You can see them at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment if you want to. You can see them everywhere. And I think that helps their reputation, really. Like, it helps that you can see these guys almost everywhere. I'm wondering really when WWE might see them as guys that we really have to just, get in our grasp. I don't know if it'll happen with Gargano, but Tommaso Ciampa, yeah, get him signed. Give him something to do, because I'd rather see him in singles action than Austin Aries right now.
I would too. And he has that great, crazy look in his eyes. So whenever he hits somebody with like a running knee, I'm like, did he mean to do that?
Yeah, he's crazy. Because you buy into that like psychopath character, like
that he's kind of played everywhere and played it well.
You buy into this. Is the guy, and Kurt Angle was one of these guys where he kind of built up a character. He was legit as an Olympic wrestler, but he built up this character where you were like buying Kurt Angle as the toughest guy in the roster. He can beat up anyone, even Brock Lesnar. Like, he can beat up anyone. Tommaso Ciampa, he scares you. Like, this guy's gonna go nuts. Tommaso Ciampa on Twitter. Did you see this, Sean, where he tweeted a picture just a couple of days ago, I believe it was. He had to get his passport renewed. And he tweeted like as a before and after, Tommaso Ciampa. And his before picture is him clean shaven, smiling with a full head of hair. And then his current picture is him groaning with no hair and a full beard, like a complete reversal. It is one of those nice before and after, like when I first started wrestling versus where I am now. And I am not a guy who was a super big Tommaso Ciampa fan in Ring of Honor. I didn't dislike the guy. I just was never on board. I am 100% on board to Tommaso Ciampa.
Every time we talk about Tommaso Ciampa, I encourage people to look up how he was written off of Ring of Honor TV. Because when they knew he was gone, it was the perfect thing. He had been admonished for attacking officials previously. And the whole thing was, if he attacked one more official, if he laid a hand on him, even accidentally, it was teased a couple times, he was gone. So he lost the match and everybody kind of knew he was gone. So he just beat the crap out of a referee, just beat the crap out of him. And the crowd loved it. It was closure, something you don't always get with WWE storylines.
It was closure, and it was one of those where if it were any other company, you would be asking yourself, okay, how will they find the way around it? Like, he beat up official, but eventually he's going to win like the Royal Rumble to win a title shot that you have to give him no matter what. It's going to be like one of those weird things. I was at a Chicago Ring of Honor show where Tommaso Ciampa was on the show, didn't wrestle. And this was as he was leaving Ring of Honor. And he came out and did a shoot promo about how he had not signed a deal with Ring of Honor, how he was about to go off to his next adventure. And then of all people, Silas Young comes in and like admonishes Silas Young, like, back in my day, if you wanted to leave, you just left. You didn't cry about it in the ring. So it was one of those, like, it was this guy leaving the territory, and he put over Silas Young as his grumpy, the last real man character without even wrestling. And then Tommaso Ciampa, a week later, was just gone. It was one of the weirdest segments to watch live, and then it all plays out. And that actually made me into a big Silas Young fan. But yeah, Tommaso Ciampa, I'm all in on this guy. I hope he gets a takeover match. I really do hope they get him on the takeover show with Johnny Gargano this upcoming month, even if it's a number one contender tag match, because who are the other tag teams right now?
I was going to say, I'm not going to be mad if I see Gargano and Ciampa against American Alpha or the Revival.
No.
I would love that.
Let them be the next takeover. And then if they do the Dusty Tag Classic coming up in 3 months from now again. So there you have another thing to look forward to, them pushing towards this tag team classic where they got to get some tag teams up here. I'm hoping we get some tag teams coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic too, because right now, I guess you can put the Hype Brothers in there, but who are the other full-time tag teams now with Blake and Murphy calling it quits? It's the Revival, American Alpha, Hype Bros, and Gargano and Ciampa. If I'm probably forgetting one or two, but
I guess Dawkins and Fulton, technically.
No, they split up.
Did they? Oh, they did, didn't they?
They split up too.
One of them was tagging with somebody else.
Yeah, he's been tagging with someone else on the house shows, and they may have even had one match on TV that I'm forgetting. They have some tag teams in the developmental part of NXT.
Oh,
developmental part of developmental. Who am I missing?
The Protein Brothers. Have you seen those guys?
Oh, the what do they call them? Like the Brothers of Pain, the Authors of Pain.
Well, they were called the Protein Brothers at the Arnold Classic.
Were they really? No.
They were, and
we're talking about the same dudes who were wearing the mask, right?
I mean, they were on something.
They were huge. Yes, I believe they're tagging now as the Authors of Pain.
Well,
so it's not so inside as the Protein Brothers, because that is hilarious.
They were the authors of terrible wrestling on that show. It was miserable. Yeah. So bad.
Right. And what I worry about with NXT is that you can put some of these guys out on some of those touring shows and you risk them getting a bad reputation as bad workers because they're all new. It's kind of what happened to, a guy like Elias Sampson. You put him on TV jobbing out all these times, and then he finally gets a real character and he's on TV and no one respects him because he's this jobber that everyone's seen. So you do risk, putting him in Florida house shows is fine because the 200 people that go to the Florida house shows, they know what they're seeing. They know they're seeing the first of all these guys. So it doesn't become a national reputation. But now you start putting them on house shows in like Dayton and going all these touring dates. If you put them house shows and they suck, that reputation follows them. And that's not a good thing. So I would like to keep them in the Florida shows. But they are weekly. They're wrestling like 2 or 3 times a week on these live events. So hopefully the Protein Brothers get a little bit better.
We had a question from the real Hot Rodzilla. What is Moose going to do when his contract is up next month? He has a lot of options.
He does have a lot of options. And what I think is telling is the fact that he won a pretty important match there on Global Wars. He was the victor in a match where I think, Elgin was probably going to lose, but if it was anyone else, it was going to be Moose, and Moose ends up getting the pin in a match with Tanahashi and Okada. So
but will he cut the weight and make the Cruiserweight Classic?
No, he won't. I like Moose's options. I mean, he's probably got the option to go to WWE. If New Japan likes him and wants to bring him in as somebody, then he's probably going to stick with Ring of Honor and kind of be like the Michael Elgin role where he's really a New Japan guy who occasionally wrestles for Ring of Honor. So he definitely has some options. Those are the big two because we are long gone from the days where TNA is option number 2 in the US. Yeah. Option number 2 in the US is Ring of Honor / New Japan. That is option number 2. And
that's option 2 and 3.
No. I would say that's option 2 because you want to get that connection if we're going, because it's all about the connection there. Like you can say, I guess Ring of Honor is number 2 and New Japan is number 3, but really they're kind of connected here. Number 3, if you're a guy who thinks you eventually want to get into WWE,
Evolve.
Option number 3 is Evolve and hoping that Gabe books you.
I agree. TNA
is down. TNA is the options for, and no fault against Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett probably did everything he was going to do in Ring of Honor, didn't have the WWE hype or the interest in him. So he goes to TNA, at least try TNA, get TV exposure, see what happens there. But TNA really is the option for the guys who have no other options. It really is like the options of the Mike Bennetts who have nowhere else to go. Trevor Lee, who's not going to get into Ring of Honor and not going to get signed by WWE. That's where you go if you really want to work on TV. Right now, Moose is better than TNA.
Yeah. And he stands out. It's funny because like 4 or 5 years ago, he is what the WWE prototypically would want and would have all over their roster. Much more athletic, mind you. But now he stands out compared to what else is on NXT. So I think that's very good. We have we have more questions. How big will the NXT cage be? NXT's ring seems smaller. Also, will they use the open door finish in the cage? I wish they'd stop using the open door finish in the cage everywhere.
I will imagine they'll use the open to the door cage because again, this match is not about, the escape rules are so someone couldn't leave and get counted out. Samoa Joe is not backing down from a fight, and neither is Finn Balor. This match really isn't about escaping the cage. I would be stunned if we actually get an escape the cage as the finish. I think we're getting a pinfall or we're getting a submission inside the cage. If I had to bet right now, my favorite for the finish would be a sleeper hold right in the ring. I'm blanking on what Joe calls it, but basically his
Coquina clutch.
The Coquina clutch, right. In the ring, Balor passes out, and that's the finish. That would be, if I had to bet right now, what the finish would be. This match is not about escaping. So will we get a door that opens? Will we get some escape attempts? Probably. As Finn Balor mounts a comeback against Samoa Joe, maybe he, as the heel in this match, kind of was like, oh, maybe I do want to escape this fight just to save my title. Yes, we will see some escape attempts, but it really isn't about escaping. The NXT ring is the exact same size as the WWE ring. The arena is too small to where you probably aren't going to see the cage hanging above the ring and then lowered. It will be built during one of the video packages, kind of like they do on the house shows of WWE when there's cage match main events. But no, the ring isn't smaller. It'll be a regular cage match as you see on any WWE pay-per-view.
I wish they'd bring back the blue bars since we're going back through history.
We are, yeah, bring back the New Age Outlaws cage. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of cage matches, Extreme Rules.
Brian Cage, Lucha Underground. Let's get on.
Oh,
go ahead.
Let's not. I'm not talking about that today. I don't want to talk about that.
Are we going to be Lucha Underground free on this episode?
Probably.
I love it. This is what happened when my Thursday show gets canceled is we got to fit everything all into one show.
And indeed.
Isn't that crazy to think a year ago, Lucha Underground was the hot thing, and now we don't even want to fit 1 minute of it into an hour-long show?
I don't want to watch it unless it's Ivelisse, Son of Havoc, and Helico. Then I don't really care about it that much, to be honest with you.
With you. I feel like, and Prince Puma, yes, he's great.
And not even because of Prince Puma, just because I know who Prince Puma is under the mask. That's it.
Right, but it's a secret.
That's right.
It's a secret. No spoilers here. I feel a little justified in the fact that I never started really getting into Lucha Underground. Like I watch episodes here and there. When we first started doing the show, I watched Lucha Underground because I figured we would talk about it more. And I'm kind of glad that it's gradually fading out of interest a little bit. You know, I'm sure there are people in this chat room right now that enjoy it and watch it, and that's fine. It's just not my favorite thing. So with all the wrestling options available, I am going to limit what I watch because there's too much out there now. There's too much. I
watch so much wrestling that when the rare occasion I do get downtime, because people don't understand, you know, I wear a lot of hats on the website. That is not a trendy Butler segue, I promise you. But if I'm not writing, then I'm updating the events on the website, or doing audio for the website, or editing audio for the website, or transcribing something. So
tweet fighting with David Bix.
Or tweet fighting with David Bixenspan, our former Wrestling Inc. host, Wrestling Inc. podcast host. But I look for excuses to not watch wrestling. Like I'll watch the Joe Rogan podcast or Fighter and the Kid or anything that isn't pro wrestling. I watch a lot of Investigation Discovery for some reason. But, you know, and Lucha Underground, to me, if I didn't have to watch it, would not be above some random episode of the Joe Rogan podcast. So, and that's just how I feel. Now, last year, I wouldn't say that. Well, early last year, I wouldn't say that. The show has progressively lost its steam. But anyway.
I don't think you're alone either. But there was our Lucha Underground talk. For those who were sad when we first said no Lucha Underground talk, we fit it in there. You got it. You got your money's worth on Lucha Underground. Back to Extreme Rules.
Indeed. Extreme Rules this Sunday. What are you most looking forward to on the show?
I'm most looking forward to the main event. This is 2 pay-per-views in a row where the biggest thing for me is Roman Reigns, and in that AJ Styles. I am looking forward to the match. I am looking to see if they continue to do something with Gallows and Anderson. You know, not do they turn on AJ or do they help AJ? None of that. Just what are they doing? What are they going to do? Because eventually they're either going to break off with the Usos or they're all going to be a 3-man group fighting somebody else. But with Cena coming back, with Orton coming back, and with Seth Rollins coming back, I think this is the end of AJ versus Roman. I really do. I think it's the end of that. So I want to see how they finish it up. Does AJ win the title? I don't think so.
I'm interested to see who's a babyface when all this is said and done, because as you mentioned, Rollins, Cena, Orton. Yep. Who knows when Orton's coming back?
Yeah. Well, according to Vince, it's within 30 days.
Yeah. So all those guys were babyfaces when not Rollins, but Rollins there's no way he's not going to be a babyface, at least for one night.
I think Orton might come back as a heel, but Rollins is going to be a babyface at least right away. Well, it's going to be like an AJ Styles version babyface because he's still probably going to go after Roman, and the fans will be behind Seth Rollins. So while he's a babyface in the fans' response, he may not be booked as one. John Cena coming back. You have AJ. Because I think AJ Styles and Roman Reigns will be baby faces after this. And this is why they've done this kind of tweener type stuff with them. Because they want to make sure that they're both baby faces after this is all said and done. And that's again why, like, the 4-way Intercontinental Championship match will be awesome. And I do want to see that match. And I think there are a ton of possibilities if they go with Sami Zayn Sami Zayn or The Miz as winners. Yes, The Miz has a ton of possibilities after this. But talking about the match, talking about all the buildup to this match has been great. And what happens next. The main event for me is what is getting me on to the show. The main event is what's drawing me in for the second time in a row, because it wasn't that way at WrestleMania. I mean, I don't think anyone was coming into Roman Reigns and Triple H and being like, that's my thing right there. It wasn't at Takeover. Takeover was Nakamura and Zayn, and that wasn't the main event. This is what pro wrestling cards used to be. And when it's really done well, this is what it should be. The main event is what you're most looking forward to. And for the second WWE pay-per-view in a row, the main event is what I'm most looking forward to.
I agree. I think Reigns is winning here.
I think so too. I really do. But do I put it at 90-10 that he's winning? No, I probably give AJ a 20% chance, because maybe they do turn AJ heel and now he has to fight off the all-star team of WWE. Like, can you imagine a storyline where it's these Japan foreigners coming in and now they're fighting the all-star team of WWE and Cena, Rollins, Reigns, and all this? That'd be incredible. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but it's one of the many different ways they can go.
Oh, I think it'd be perfect. And if Styles ran roughshod over all these guys, what better 3 people to thwart them than the Shield? Just saying.
The Shield has to come together to finally stop this injustice in WWE with these Japanese foreigners. There's just so many possibilities. And without
the one way you're going to get AJ Styles booed, maybe. Is against the Shield
when he's facing the Shield. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh God, there's so many different. I'm excited.
And then the Wyatt family shows.
At the risk of turning this into Fantasy Booking Central, because I don't want to do that. But I'm whichever way they go, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's disappointing because my fantasy version was so much better. I'm not going to be that guy. But you got Brock Lesnar dangling out there too. Imagine AJ Styles being this cocky punk who finally gets more wins and he's getting cockier and cockier. And then all of a sudden at SummerSlam or beyond, here comes Brock, freaking Lesnar. And you're like, what the hell?
That's Brock not Lesnar? His middle name.
Brock, what is it? Brock Larry? I believe it's Brock Larry Lesnar. Yes. Brock Larry Lesnar is going to come in and he's going to be the one to,
Edward.
Is it really Edward? I didn't know what it was. Brock Ed. Yeah. Okay. That's even better. Edward's probably a better fitting middle name for Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. And I want to see them tease AJ hitting the Styles Clash on that guy.
Yeah. So we'll go through some abbreviated predictions of Extreme Rules because we did it on the Monday show, but wanted to get your predictions too. Charlotte versus Natalya, Ric Flair banned from ringside, submission match. Now, both of these women I know trained with the likes of Jessamine Duke, Shayna Baszler, catch wrestlers who are under Josh Barnett, under the late Billy Robinson. So I know that they must, I'm sure they knew about this match when they were in LA training with these girls. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they've got some tricks up their sleeves. And I think it'll be obviously a mat-based match. Yeah. But what are you expecting out of this match? And who are you picking?
I'm expecting that too. I'm expecting it kind of like an Iron Man match, kind of like a beat the clock, where the submission is the stipulation. So they go for these things right away. Like you're going for the submissions nonstop, right off the gate, not worrying about pinfalls, not worrying about chain wrestling. We're going to see a submission attempt in the first 30 seconds of the match, I think. So it'll be mat-based. I think that actually works out well for Charlotte because when they're doing the mat-based stuff, as long as they're not doing it super slow motion, it's going to be pretty good. So,
they both have submission finishes too.
Exactly. So I am all up for this. I'm surprised you're doing this one first as we run down the show because I believe if Raw tells me anything, this is the main event of the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was in North Carolina.
It was in North Carolina, yes.
Flair country. God, I loved it when Flair was embarrassing Charlotte and she's screaming, Dad, Dad.
Charlotte was doing her best Ric Flair impression because she was being like, you talk about turning your character up from an 8 to an 11.
Yeah.
Like she was just going all out Ric Flair, doing the hand waving, the screaming at the top of her lungs, just in shock. Charlotte was something else in that segment.
My fiance said that reminded her of how I act at the house, like pretending that I want to fight and wooing all the time and bouncing off of things, and made me realize how ridiculous I really act sometimes.
Listen, bouncing off of things, wooing at the house, and pretending to be a fighter. I mean, this is basically the life and times of CM Punk.
Oh, well, we'll get to. By the way, we had a question. I'll go ahead and do it. Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it now, just so I don't forget. Does CM Punk, or will we ever see CM Punk in pro wrestling again? I think even if he goes 20-0 as an MMA fighter, which won't happen, yes, because there is too much money for it to not happen.
Yeah, I think everyone at least thinks he'll come back for like a Hall of Fame, ceremony, something like that.
Let me put it like this. CM Punk versus Triple H was not a WrestleMania main event when he left. It is a WrestleMania main event now.
It's a main event. If he comes back, he's in the main event of WrestleMania. Now, that's what he wanted. He never got it. And if you listen to CM Punk, it's too late now, right? And that's what he says. It's too late now. He could get the main event tomorrow. And he knows he can be in the main event of WrestleMania tomorrow. And he doesn't go back. So there's something there. You have the lawsuit that's starting this week with tomorrow, I believe it is, with CM Punk and Colt Cabana against Dr. Chris Amon. So you have a lot of different stuff going around that will keep him out of it. I just find it hard to believe that he won't come back for something. And if the question is, will he come back to pro wrestling? That leaves all the other promotions too. Could Ring of Honor start a Hall of Fame? Could something else happen to where he does one match, or not even a match? Maybe he just comes back to show up on the side of Colt Cabana.
He's teased interest in PWG before.
He's teased interest in a lot of different things. So yeah, I mean, he's teased interest
including
in
UFC.
Including UFC. And this is again, for those who have not seen my stance before and do not look at my pinned tweet at Shake Them Ropes on Twitter, CM Punk is not going to fight in the UFC, and it's not because he's a coward. Do I truly believe he wants to get in there to prove people wrong? Yes. Do I truly believe that injuries and age and just circumstances will keep him out? Yes. I don't think he's going to fight, not because of himself, but because of all the situations around it. He fancies himself a prover of people wrong. Just not going to happen in this case.
Kalisto versus Rusev, United States title match. I'm picking Rusev in this.
Rusev's winning the belt, man.
Hope so.
Winning the U.S. title, and I hope it's more than just getting beat by John Cena the week after in John Cena's return. I hope it's more than that. But Rusev with the U.S. title is the way to go. Rusev's U.S. title run, facing guys like Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger and Rusev was the feud of the year 2 years ago. Yeah. Rusev is great with that championship. Great with that.
He's great in general.
Yes, I love Rusev, and I hope people realize that he's the star of League of Nations. And we'll see what happens with Alberto Del Rio. But I'm thinking Rusev wins the championship here. And then I'm also on an off the limb, a little sidetrack. I think Kalisto is going to be in the Cruiserweight Classic. How about that?
That would be great. And like I said, we will talk about that right after Extreme Rules. New Day versus Vaudevillains. I think New Day is going to win here.
Yeah. New Day. Well, Vaudevillains have been impressive.
Yes, they have. They've been much better on the main roster than in NXT.
I think that's almost a unanimous belief. And what happens here now is if Enzo really is coming back soon, and from all sounds of it, he probably is coming back shortly after Extreme Rules. If he's coming back, Vaudevillains make sense for
a hot feud.
Enzo and Cass. So the Vaudevillains very well could win the championship here, and then you have Enzo and Cass coming back, and New Day is kind of just hanging out there.
I mean, New Day's held the titles for almost 9 months. You got to give them a rematch almost immediately.
You would think so. You would think so, but the thing is, maybe that happens on Raw, right? I mean, we're past the days where rematches happen on pay-per-view always. Sometimes they do happen on Raw.
Or even advertised in some cases.
Yeah, so there are different ways you can go here. I'm with you. I think the New Day wins this one right now. But it's going to be interesting because there are things for the Vaudevillains to do if they win. Number one being Enzo and Cass.
Usos versus Anderson and Gallows. The Usos have kind of dominated recently over Anderson and Gallows.
Here's the thing. When was this match added?
I think yesterday. Texas Tornado match.
Yeah. So because originally, they were all promoting how they were going to be involved possibly in the Extreme Rules, right? So now they have an idea for them in this tag match. It's possible that they beat each other up so much that they are out of the picture in the championship match. Have these guys go crazy. Maybe even it's thrown out as a match. It's just a brawl. It's a fight. But you get something so crazy to where all 4 guys are taken out. And now the question is, okay, these 4 guys are gone. There's no one to help Roman Reigns. There's no one to help AJ Styles. Now what happens? I think that adds some intrigue to see if maybe someone else shows up in AJ's favor, or if you finally do get the one-on-one match, AJ versus Roman, and don't have to explain further why there was no help from any of the tag teams. I almost think this match is more a storyline device for the main event than a match to see who wins. So my prediction would be it's thrown out as a match.
I like that idea. I'm going to have to go that way. I think if there is a winner, it'll be Anderson and Gallows because they've lost so much lately. Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho, the Asylum match. In my opinion, I think Ambrose takes this. I would like to see him dominate this feud. He needs to. It's crazy. Chris Jericho, by all means, 2016 is the #1 heel in the show.
#1 heel in the show. I think Dean Ambrose wins too because you're starting this Asylum. Maybe this is going to be a thing that's brought back later, and Dean Ambrose makes this his thing. Like Undertaker's thing is Hell in the Cell, and this becomes Dean Ambrose's thing, the Asylum match. So you got to have him win the first one, right? You would think. Maybe, just maybe. I like the idea that Dean Ambrose wins. I think Chris Jericho, I would almost expect Chris Jericho to be the return opponent for John Cena. Like if John Cena wrestles on the Raw he comes back on, it's because Chris Jericho runs his mouth about not getting respect or, losing against all the new guys or whatever the case may be. And he puts over John Cena as a return. That's an idea. I could see Chris Jericho winning because God, Chris Jericho wins matches we don't expect him to. He just does.
All the time.
And Dean Ambrose loses matches that we expect him to win all the time. Dean Ambrose does not have a good pay-per-view record. So it very well could go the opposite, but I'm with you. I think Dean Ambrose wins.
Also,
can I ask you, was it a toilet bowl I saw on top of the cage on Raw, or was I seeing things? I thought I saw a toilet on top of the cage match.
I'll have to look over that again.
Watch the ending Raw segment, and I very well could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot, but I thought one of the things on the corner of the Asylum match was a toilet bowl.
Well, I know one thing.
What?
2016, Chris Jericho is still a top heel, and he's able to do it because of ddpyoga.com/wrestling Inc. It helps him stay in shape for these runs that he goes on. He's made 732 returns, and he's able to do it because of ddpyoga.com/wrestling Inc. Go there, get a great deal on the Max Pack. Also, you can check out the DDP Yoga Now app. I use that myself. I love it. Helps me. I sleep hard, my friend. And when I wake up, I'm as stiff as a board. Not that way, you pervs. And I loosen up with the DDP Yoga Now app. And sometimes with the wake up workout that the DDP Yoga Max Pack provides. You've seen what it does for John Cena, AJ Styles, Chris Jericho, Scott Hall, and of course, Jake the Snake Roberts. And you can see how it helped Jake the Snake Roberts with the resurrection of Jake the Snake, now available everywhere, video on demand, iTunes, Google Play, PlayStation Network, Vudu. And for a limited time, it's also available on Blu-ray. We will provide you with a link in the podcast post to let you know how you can get a hold of that. So check that out, ddpyoga.com/wrestling Inc. and the resurrection of Jake the Snake. Of course, tweet our friend DDP and DDP Yoga. Let them know that we sent you. Last match on Extreme Rules that we have, the Intercontinental title 4-way. Don't know where this one goes. I've been trying to decide. I think The Miz has some more mileage in him with the Maurice, having Maurice as a manager. I think Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, either together or against each other, has mileage. I could see them becoming like an odd couple type of team in the future. Don't know what's up with Cesaro. Where do you see this going?
I think The Miz is going to win, but I also think there's a lot of opportunity for Sami Zayn to win. Sami Zayn kind of backdoored his way into this match in the first place. He just kind of kept hanging around until eventually getting a one-on-one with The Miz, earning his spot per se in this match. But he really earned his earning spot by hanging around and fighting Kevin Owens and not really being a victor in anything. So sometimes WWE seems to like to give the guy who really doesn't even belong in the match the win, and that gives them a little bit more credibility. And then there's a lot of different ways. For the Intercontinental Championship, you can have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. You can have Sami Zayn rematch with Miz. You have Cesaro still available to see what he's going to do. I think Miz wins because there's more mileage in the Miz and Maurice team. I think Kevin Owens losing all these multi-man matches and going crazy about it is a really cool idea for the future, to the point where he breaks and maybe even goes for a tag title or some other title and just keeps fighting for different prizes because he can't get what he truly believes is his, the Intercontinental Championship. There's a ton of ways you can go with this one. I really just want to sit back, watch the match, because I think the match is going to be great, and let WWE surprise me with who wins, because I don't need to think about what's happening in the future. There's ideas for everybody. So just kind of wow me. Let me see who wins, and it's probably going to be one of my favorite matches on the show, I would imagine, with those guys involved, with all four of them, because Miz is one of the best workers on Raw, and obviously Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn are great. So this is going to be a situation where you have four great guys in the ring. How could it go wrong?
Looking forward to that match. Of course, we will be here, myself and Vince Russo, possibly Raj Giri. I'm not sure if he's joining us or not, after Extreme Rules for Live Wrestling Inc. podcast. Had some unfortunate news this week, Rob. Emma, just 6 days after Dana Brooke debuted on the main roster, had to undergo back surgery, out indefinitely. That's horrible news, because this was really one of her best shots on the main roster.
We were the leaders of the Emma fan club.
Hell yeah, we were.
Really. And I mean, it's very sad news. It's almost as sad as not picking a winner for Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin.
Oh, shit. Baron Corbin.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But Emma, this back injury is devastating, because she was back to the main roster after, I think she was kind of just lounging around in NXT. And I don't mean that like she was lazy and just hanging out there for no reason, but she should have been on the main roster. She's excellent. NXT did wonders for her, because it changed her no interest character, goofy babyface who was uncoordinated, into a serious kick-ass heel. And she's a great character.
In turn, did wonders for Dana Brooke.
Because it let her come into something already on the rise when she debuted. So you didn't have to really focus on how green she was in the ring. You can focus on her, just kind of getting heat for Emma in different situations. So it really is hurtful. I mean, I don't like injuries, obviously. WWE's gone through a lot of them. But Emma's someone that we all watched go from the main roster back to NXT and really work hard to get back to the main roster. And she finally does. She works WrestleMania great. And now she was getting a one-on-one program with Becky Lynch, only for it to be ruined because of an injury. So it really is a shame. They're throwing Dana Brooke right into the fire, because she's getting singles wins all over the place now. So whatever Emma was going to do, it looks like Dana Brooke is going to do. So they're just throwing her in the fire, and really we're going to see Dana Brooke either sink or swim. So while it's all about opportunity, it's all about timing. This is really good timing for Dana Brooke, really bad timing for Emma.
As we've mentioned, the Cruiserweight Classic coming up.
It is.
We've had qualifying matches for about the past month, and we learned that the taping will go through September 14th. So by all means, this Cruiserweight Classic is like a 5-month ordeal, including these qualifying matches. People like Zack Sabre, Jack Gallagher, TJ Perkins, people like that have been added. They're what is the 3 fingers?
3-month ordeal. Because I got to figure September 14th is going to be a live finale. They're going to go all tough enough on this.
I'm talking about like from the opening qualifying matches.
That's true. Okay, hold on. Let me make audio so that people can see my face on the screen and me putting up 5, because Sean was correct. Okay. Good job, Sean. Imagine if I had some trendy Butler gloves on my hand right now. It would be even that much better.
You could just get some regular Butler gloves and it would work.
Oh, okay. I was doing a sponsor thing, but whatever.
Well, I mean, they don't sponsor our Wednesday shows.
It's on the board. It's on the little board. I see.
I'm not erasing that every time. Okay. I like my friends at Trendy Butler though.
I wish you were like Woody Page and just did different things on the board every once in a while.
If it were a marker board, I would.
In fact, I want the day to be where you have the board back there, and I talk, and then when you talk again, the people see a new board up there. That's what I want. That's what I envision.
Perhaps I can get my fiance to come switch them out sometimes.
Like, that would be excellent. That would be excellent stuff. But yeah, the Cruiserweight Classic, super exciting. I'm wondering to see Zack Sabre Jr. is canceling bookings in June because of an injury he suffered in Germany last week. So I'm hoping he's okay for this Cruiserweight Classic, because honestly, he's the guy I expected to go to the final. I'm excited to start seeing these names who have been in developmental for a while, not on TV. The guys like Chris Gerard, Rich Swann, La Sombra. I want to see all these guys finally on TV. It's exciting. Yeah, we're going to get the first taping at the end of June. Looks like it's going to go, it's 13-week run. And then we might have a live takeover-like finale on Wednesday, September 14th, where we see kind of like the Ultimate Fighter. You have your championship match and then a couple of like dream matches of guys in the tournament. So
that would be awesome.
This is shaping up to be really we all knew it was a cool thing because, oh my God, what is WWE doing? But this is all turning out to be what we hoped it would be, and a really cool thing. And the best part is no spoilers. If they do a live finale, we don't know who wins until we see the match and we see who wins. This isn't a situation where everything's taped and we all know what's happening and we just have to see the matches with no heat.
Also, this could mean huge changes for the NXT roster moving forward. I mean, Manny Andrade's going to be in it. We're going to see really Chris Gerard, Rich Swann, guys that they've already signed. But there could be a lot of people who get jobs off of this.
Guys that get jobs off of it, but you're talking about guys who have been kept off TV for this show come September, come after NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. A month later, this Cruiserweight finale goes away. And now these people have been on TV and you start incorporating them into NXT. So you're going to see a lot of new blood, and it's going to be really exciting because I think the people want to see a Chris Gerard, a Rich Swann, obviously La Sombra. If this guy, especially if he wins the tournament, they got to give him a big push coming off of NXT. So this is going to be a big deal, not just as a Cruiserweight Classic standalone thing, but this will find a way to incorporate itself into NXT and be a big deal for the future of that brand.
Going to get to a couple of questions before we talk a little bit of UFC. With returns like Enzo, Cena, Randy, Wyatt, and Rollins within the next month, do you think the WWE will still call up Balor and Bayley after TakeOver?
Finn Balor,
look like it.
It is getting to the point where, and now we got a storyline with Bayley. Bayley's got this leg injury. We'll see if she doesn't work the house shows this weekend. Bayley's got this leg injury. She's going to have to work her way back up. She just lost to Nia Jax. She's going to have to work her way back up, beat Nia Jax, do this angle where, she's recovering from a knee injury. So it's going to be like getting the sympathy on her side again, beat Nia Jax, and probably have a couple of month program with Asuka like she did with Sasha Banks. They have the couple of matches. If I had to guess right now, I don't think Finn Balor or Bayley go up to the main roster this calendar year. We're looking at another situation where it's going to be Royal Rumble WrestleMania time where you bring those two guys up. I think the WWE roster is set when these guys come back. And I think the NXT roster is set with Finn Balor being there in NXT for a long time to come. Last month, I was thinking Finn Balor might show up at Payback. This month, I think that time is gone. They have not even made any reference to other friends that the club has had. So I don't think we're getting Finn Balor up, especially not in that angle, but maybe not in anything for the rest of this calendar year, which really, based on this pay-per-view, is going to happen on June 8th. So we're talking about 6 months left in the year. That's not a lot of time in pro wrestling, right? It really isn't a lot of time. So you can keep him off until maybe WrestleMania, maybe Royal Rumble. I don't think we see him up.
Somebody asked in the Ambrose Jericho match, do the weapons hang above the cage? Do they have to climb up there to use them? It certainly looks that way.
It looks that way. Who the hell knows? But yeah. I got no one answering me yet on whether there was a toilet bowl up there.
Nobody yet. UFC 198 was last weekend. Stipe Miocic upset Fabricio Verdum, knocked him dead. Dead.
No comment on the match itself. Yeah, that was a cool moment, but oh my God, at ESPN trying to turn this into like the first championship for Cleveland.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know what? It's like the Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and EC3 don't exist.
Well, they don't. Let's be real. Let's be real here.
Well, I mean, Stipe Miocic billed it as that too. I mean,
I know, but I'm watching SportsCenter here and I'm like, I knew that was like a thing, but and great for UFC in this coverage, but like SportsCenter was starting with a shot of LeBron side by side with a shot of Stipe Miocic, and like, who's going to bring the title home to Cleveland first? Come on now.
Well, Miocic did it, and
he did it.
Fabricio Verdum's game plan was a duty. duty, I say, because Stipe Miocic is an excellent counterpuncher, and he chased him down. It was almost exactly the way he knocked out Philip DeFries. Now, the other fight that I really want to talk about, because it leads into another news story. Chris Cyborg slaughtered Leslie Smith, a woman who is like 8-7, I think, whatever.
Yeah.
As I said on the Monday show, they could have sent Leslie Smith in there with a Reebok-sponsored rocket launcher and said, good luck. Try not to kill anybody in the crowd with this. And she would have still been like a plus 2,000 underdog. Like, she had no chance. No chance with her fighting style of beating Chris Cyborg. So tonight, it was announced on UFC Tonight that the UFC wanted Cyborg to fight a woman named Germaine de Randamie at UFC 201.
Yeah.
That happens at the end of July. Germaine de Randamie is a Dutch kickboxer, pretty damn good fighter, to be honest with you. Compared to the people that Cyborg has faced previously, she's Bruce Lee. I mean, she's like way better than anybody that Cyborg has faced in the last 4 or 5 years, except maybe Marloes Coenen. Maybe. She's 6-3. She's won 3 of her last 4. Good fight. She called out Cyborg afterwards. She wants to fight Cyborg. You don't see that a lot. You don't see a lot of women just saying, give me her. Give me Cyborg and we'll do it at 140.
Yeah.
After that was announced, Cyborg says, no. I'm defending my 145-pound title at Invicta next.
Yeah.
And now I just want to put this in perspective. Germaine de Randamie is 6-3 and is ranked, I think, number 14, number 13 in the UFC.
Those rankings don't matter.
They don't. But 6-3, and she is like, let me check to make sure.
Go for it.
Ranked number 12.
Yeah.
Do you know what the record of the number 9 ranked women's featherweight fighter is?
I don't, but I'm going to guess it's 2-5.
3-4.
Ooh, that was kind of close.
A top 10 fighter with a losing record. I'm not talking like in Invicta, in a certain organization.
Yeah.
Ever, all time. There is no talent at 145. And the little bit of talent that is there is either signed by Bellator or Cyborg's already beat the living shit out of them.
Yeah.
She is under contract to UFC, Rob.
Yeah.
They decide where she fights. If they want to say, tough titty, no fights in Invicta, then she's got to sit out for a while unless she wants to do this fight. So she has a skilled woman who wants to fight her.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she's like, no. Any red flags here, Rob?
Maybe a mild one in the fact, but I also think it plays into the larger point that Cyborg did her UFC fight, right? And maybe she's thinking, okay, the money is in me fighting Ronda Rousey. So I don't want to risk a loss to someone. It's kind of like, when an injury happens to a champion and they give the challenger another fight or wait for the title. Cyborg is waiting for Rousey. And Rousey is the negative for Cyborg here is Rousey is all up in this title situation if she ever wants to fight again. And we've talked on the show about how Rousey, maybe she shouldn't be licensed to fight again with, talking about thoughts of ending herself because what is she good for? She's not a UFC fighter and all that jazz. We don't know when Rousey's coming back. And when she does, there are multiple women on the roster on UFC that are on her plate, and Cyborg really isn't one of them. So I wonder if this all plays into a game that Cyborg is playing with UFC, like either give me Rousey or I'm fighting for my title and against women I know I can beat. Like, I don't want to come in with a loss anywhere if I get that Rousey fight, because that Rousey fight's going to be a big deal. Otherwise, maybe she just is in a camp. I'm not going to call Cyborg scared because she can beat me up many times over and I have 60 pounds on her.
Go ahead. It was very funny that she had tweeted, Ronda Rousey, you're running 2 days ago.
Yeah.
She just publicly rejected a fight with the number 12th ranked 135-pound fighter who everybody who is in the know knows that this is a dangerous fight for her.
Everyone does.
Know.
Yes. Everyone knows this is a dangerous fight, but look at how she's selling it. Like, I'm not going to go for a non-title fight. I'm going to defend my title because I'm a fighting champion. That's how they're going to push it. I'm a fighting champion. I want to defend my championship. I don't want to go 2 fights without defending my title. So that's how they'll sell it. But it is interesting. I mean, I think she wants Rousey or she doesn't want to fight because she wants to basically protect that winning record and that the enigma of Cyborg as being this unbeatable fighter basically against the competition of current. So it all kind of plays together. It all kind of, is she running away? Probably. But they won't sell it that way. And I'll be interested to see if UFC sells it that way. I don't think they will, because I don't think they want to hurt whatever drawing power Cyborg has. So they'll play that game. You know, UFC has won a couple of media games recently, biggest one being Conor McGregor. Will they possibly win this one? Will they throw more money at Cyborg? Is this a negotiating tactic? I don't think we've seen the end of this particular story. And I think it's more nuanced than just saying Cyborg is running from a threat.
Yeah, I don't think she's running from a threat, but I think that the game that she's playing is very transparent.
We're talking about it. It all goes like, transparent, layered.
Listen to these rankings. This is the MMARising.com rankings. Very highly respected women's rankings. Chris Cyborg ranked number 1. Marloes Kunin number 2. Kunin's in Bellator. Julia Budd number 3 in Bellator. Latoya Walker is number 4. She just lost. She's not getting a title fight. Charmaine Tweet, number 5. She just got beat like less than a year ago by Cyborg. Number 6, Arlene Blinkow. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Bellator. Faith Van Doon, number 7. She just got beat by Cyborg in her last fight. Peggy Morgan, 4-3. She was a UFC washout. 4-3. Number 9, 3-4. Number 10 is a 5-4 woman in Bellator. There is nobody, because there's all these people that are like, create the 145 division. The reason that the 135 division is so deep is because everybody got the hell out of that shallow ass 135 or 145 division. It's getting weird. It's getting weird. And Cyborg called out me. She picks the weirdest times to call some of these people out. And the games that have been played between making weight, not making weight, she made 139 the other day. And she actively gained weight over the last 2.5 years when she said she would cut to 135 and didn't. So you got to start giving or taking the fights that are offered to you by the company that you work for. But either way, guys, Extreme Rules this Sunday. If you didn't on this video, go ahead, subscribe to our YouTube page. Lots of cool stuff coming. Leave a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Check out ProWrestlingTees.com/Wrestling Inc. Check out our Wrestling Inc. merchandise. You can also check out some cool catch wrestling merchandise at ProWrestlingTees.com/Sean Ross Sapp. Guys, visit DDPYoga.com/Wrestling Inc. and check out the Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Rob, anything to leave our viewers with before we go?
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors are beating the Thunder by 30. I'm pretty convinced that game 1 was them just playing cat and mouse. And then this is where it gets real. You can follow me at Shake Them Ropes, and you can catch all of my merch at my garage sale next Saturday.
You know, if the Warriors lose one more game, I think the Bulls have a share of the greatest winning percentage in like regular and postseason history. And I'm holding on to that with everything that I can.
The only thing that counts in the postseason is who wins the last game of the season. That's it. Stats, all that stuff. Records in the postseason doesn't matter.
Not really, not really. Join us again after Extreme Rules this Sunday. Myself, Vince Russo, not Rob. Catch you guys later.